And feel the strength of your connection to the earth. And then feel the breath. So, you know, there's this earthiness, this connected strength of the connection to the earth. And then the breath is mobile. It's sort of mobile, and there's a little fluidity to it. So just notice those qualities in your body. And bring your hands to Anjali Mudra at the heart center. And as you inhale, sweep the arms down and up. And then exhale back to the heart. And do that 2 more times. Inhaling up. And exhaling back to the heart. And 1 more time. Inhale. And exhale. And then bring the hands to the tops of the thighs. Bend your knees. When you bend your knees, get the knees to go straight forward. So I'm going to turn like this. So the knees, you want them to come straight forward. And you're going to slide down to the ankles, tipping the pelvis towards the thighs and slide back up. So keep going like this, sliding down and up. And we know that people tend to be tight, really all along the legs of the back body, the hamstring muscles, that whole area tends to be stiff and tight because we sit in chairs so much. Keep going. And additionally, when we're under stress, no matter what the origin of the stress, those places that collect tension, that stay tight and stiff, can sometimes become even tighter and stiffer. So you just want to check in with yourself and notice what's going on in your body today, because it's different every time. 1 more time like that. And then go ahead and come back to Tadasana. And take just a minute to look down at your feet. Make sure that the toes are going straight forward. So if you tend to be a little pigeon-toed, or you tend to have your feet turned out a little bit, just make that little adjustment. And then press into the 4 corners of the foot. So where the big toe mound meets the foot, the little toe mound meets the foot, and on either side of your heel, as if your foot is a square block. Press into those 4 corners. And then notice the arch of the foot. So I saw an advertisement for some shoes on Facebook, and they did such a great job of showing how the arch support in the shoes corrects the alignment of the ankles and the knees, but I couldn't figure out how to clip that out. But just imagine the arch supports, a really good arch support in a shoe, and you want to create that with the muscles of your foot. Your foot should really be shaped that way, whether you're wearing shoes or not, and you want to develop the muscles to keep that shape. So do that. So lift up those arches as if you have shoes with the arch support, and then let those arches sink down towards the floor. That's called pronating. The ankles are pronating, or coming towards each other. Press into the 4 corners and slowly lift those arches, and then allow the arches to pronate again, coming down towards the floor. And just do that a few more times And if this is a new exercise for you, your whole foot may sort of move like the big toe mound, and the inside of the heel may want to lift as you lift your arches. But once the muscles become fluid and pliable, you'll be able to maintain contact and activate the arches both at the same time. So the next time you activate the arches, stay here and bring your hands, excuse me, low on your hips and bend your knees. And you can look at your knees, and you want the knees to come straight forward in line with the second toe, and let your sit bones come back as far as you need to. And then you can hinge forward if you need to, so the low back isn't compressing, but you don't want to come way over like this. You want to kind of stay upright. And then press into the feet and come back up. So we're just going to do that a few times. So bending the knees, you bring your sits bones back. You're pressing into the four corners. Those arches have to stay active all the way down and all the way up. Keep going, really focusing on how your legs are working. Because these muscles are really important for standing up and sitting down, quite frankly, and for walking. Go one more time. Bend and straighten, and then come back up to standing in mountain pose and bring your hands to the heart center again. And this time, inhale, sweep the arms down and up, and as you exhale, the hands straight down the midline, but stay in mountain pose. Just focus on the arms. Inhale as you press back up, and exhale back to the heart center. Keep going. Inhale and exhale. So this energetically is like the breath. There's some mobility, some air, ether, and water. You're filling the space. That's ether. And you're breathing. That's the air element as the air moves. Air is really translated more as wind. And then just this smooth circular motion, it brings some water element into it. And go one more time like this. And then just stay here, take a few breaths. And we're going to put those together. So now you're going to have all the elements. You're going to have the water of the arm movement, the air of the breath movement, the ether as you fill the space, and then earth element here. And then when you come into this, you'll engage the bandhas, and that brings fire element. Anytime you're in the solar plexus in this area here, in the belly area, you're bringing fire. So inhale the arms down and up, grounding and lifting up. Now, as you exhale, bend the knees, draw the hands down the midline, engage the root lock, the pit of the belly. This is power pose. And then inhale, slowly press up. You want to take your time and exhale the hands to the heart. So we're going to do this a few times. Inhale up. Exhale, engaging the root lock, the pit of the belly, pressing into the feet. Inhale up. And exhale to the heart center. Inhale up. Exhale, Tadasana. Inhale up. And exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale up. And exhale. One more time, flowing through, just feeling those 5 energies called the elements: ether, air, fire, water, and earth. And then this time, we're just going to bring our hands down the middle, and we're just going to stay here for a few breaths. Pressing into the feet, activating the arches. Shoulders are down, so try not to lift the shoulders up. Knees are straight over the ankles, over the second toe, so the arches are active. And the belly is engaged because Uddiyana Bandha is engaged, but you're also breathing into the belly. Now inhale, press up. And exhale, bring the hands to the heart center. Let's do that one more time. So inhale the arms down and up. Now make sure the arches are active. You're pressing into the 4 corners of the feet. Engage the bandhas. Here's the power part of the pose. Stay here and breathe. And if you press your palms together, that will help you engage the root lock. Inhale, press up, and exhale your hands to Anjali Mudra, and then just take a few breaths here. And then go ahead and step your feet up a little bit, like this. Let's just do raincoat arms. So just begin by twisting a little bit. And as you twist, just let the arms fling like you have a raincoat draped over your shoulders and your arms are in the sleeves. I like this pose because it's a good way to just sort of offload some energy. And then start tapping yourself. So tap like right below the ribs on the front and right above the kidneys on the back, so that you're tapping into what's called the stress band, where the liver, the gallbladder, the pancreas on the front live, as well as the stomach. The stomach's in the middle, but it plays a role in stress. If you know, if you've ever gotten a stomach ache when you're upset, you can understand that. And then notice, and then you want to tap the back where the adrenal glands sit on top of the kidneys. We're just trying to vibrate that those organs and get any stale chemicals that are just hanging out that aren't needed anymore. We just want to get those into circulation so that they can be filtered and excreted. So you're not holding on to a bunch of stress chemicals on Saturday when it's your weekend. And they're not really helping. I know they're not helping me. Okay, now bring that to a close. And just take and just notice that. So you may feel some weird energy, some tingling in your fingers, maybe some buzzing around your head, maybe some heat from the solar plexus, or you might not feel anything, but you just want to notice and pay attention to your own energy, and that when it releases, that's kind of important to notice in terms of a feedback, so that you have a sense of where you are in your body. Now, go ahead and bring your hands right here, and let's just bend and straighten here. So this, again, this is an earthy, watery sort of a movement, and we just want to get this, we want to get the body wired up, so that the movement is smooth and coordinated rather than being disconnected and jerky. And so you just kind of want to go the extra mile here, really slow it down and allow yourself to experience, again, energetically. Now, the next time you bend your knees, bring your weight onto your right, roll up on the ball of the left, and then come back through center and rolling on the right. And we're just going to go back and forth here. And you can do this with a chair if you want to have a chair here to sort of hold on to help you. And once your body sort of feels comfortable here, so not your mind, you can't overcome it with your mind, give your body plenty of time. Once you become comfortable just sort of with the shifting of the weight, then you can begin engaging the root lock, the pit of the belly here, and release that core strength here. Engage the root lock, the pit of the belly, and release that core strength. Engage, and release. And if you're newer to yoga and your bandhas aren't super wired up, you need to really slow it down so that it gives those tiny, subtle muscles the opportunity to do their share of the work. And if you've been practicing yoga for a long time, slow down so you can really feel yourself strongly engaging those muscles. And now we're going to lift the right toe off the mat, taking the balance, and come back through center. And left toe off, and back through center. And you can go at your own pace here. It just depends on where you are in the practice. Slower is a little harder, I believe, a little more difficult. And balance practices are really a test for the body to wire everything up so that it works together in a smooth fashion to allow you to do this. And it's not really the practice, this practice on the mat is not so important as the practice as you're walking around, going up and down stairs, stepping up and down curbs, getting in and out of the car. All the little things we do in our daily life that require some sense of balance. This will improve that. This will improve that. If you can do this, if you trip on something, the chances are you will recover from that trip. Or if you take the fall, maybe the fall won't be quite as hard. And then the next time both feet are flat on the floor, stay here and just come back to the breath. And then bring your hands to the fronts of the knees and bend the knees again and slide down. And this time just 3 times. The feet are a little wider apart. Tipping the pelvis, hinging at the hips, keeping the upper back strong and straight. 2 more times like this. And last time. And then go ahead and come back to standing in Tadasana. And bring your hands low on your hips. And now we're going to go into half forward folds with the knees straight. So you want to lengthen and engage the bodies, because when you engage here, it supports the low back on the back body. And lead with the heart, not with the chin and not with the top of the head. Hinging forward and lifting up. And hinging forward and lifting up. Now, if you remember that thing where we hinge forward and press the heels away from each other and hinge up, drawing the heels towards each other, if you know and like that, you can do that here. And what that does is that just helps you spiral the legs, so you got an internal rotation as you come forward, and then you draw the heels towards each other. Here's the external rotation. And it uses those muscles, they're pretty small muscles in the legs, but it uses those muscles to help you lift and lower. Hinging forward and lifting up. And if you have that down and your back is feeling okay and you want to hinge a little deeper into your half forward fold so you get a little bit of stretch in the hamstrings, you can do that. And one more time, forward and up. And just stand in mountain pose. And then bring your hands back to the heart center and just inhale, sweep the arms up. And then exhale, bring the arms out to a T position. And then rotate the arms. So try not to lift the shoulders like this. Try to keep your shoulders down and back. And you're just rotating the arm bone in the shoulder socket. And then rotate the hands up, lift up. And then wing the arms out, rotate, and back up. And one more time, the arms come down and rotate, and back up. And then bring the hands down the midline. Take a few breaths here. Now, inhale, sweep the arms down and up. And this time, bring the arms to a T position and hinge forward in that half forward fold, rotating the hands. And you can bring the palms of the thumbs towards each other here, like this, like you're getting ready to dive, but the knees are straight. And then engage the bodies and really pay attention to how the arms rotate in the shoulder. Bring the arms overhead and down the midline. So we're going to flow through this. Inhale up. Exhale, the arms come out to a T. As you hinge forward, they rotate. The palms come towards each other on the back. Inhale, back up. Arms all the way up. Hands down the midline. Now, if this is too much, you can just do the half forward fold again without the arms. Hinging forward. Inhaling up, arms overhead, and down the midline. We're just going to go like this. See if you can feel the two energetics again in your body. And you know, there's no right or wrong or correct thing to feel. You just want to notice how it affects you. And let's go one more time. And then come back to your mountain pose. Breathing here. And then go ahead and bring your right foot forward and your left foot back, coming into a warrior one stance. Now, when you take your warrior one stance, make sure your feet are like on a little train track like this, that you're not setting yourself up like where your left foot is straight behind your right. You want a little space in between, so your hips have room to be parallel to the front end of the mat. And then press into those four corners, so where the big toe meets the foot, where the little toe meets the foot, and on either side of your heel, press into those four corners, and then activate the arches, and then release the arches. And then activate the arches, and release. And the last time, activate. Does not feel very good to pronate when you're standing in warrior one. So keep those arches active. And keep the back leg, the left leg, really active. So pressing it towards the wall behind you, pressing into the four corners. And go ahead and let's just bring our left arm up as you bend the right knee. So inhaling here. This helps keeps the hips square. And then coming back. Keep going, bend the right knee, the left arm comes up. Feel the squareness of the shoulders and the hips. They're stacked one on top of the other. And that right knee is coming straight forward over the ankle in line with the second toe and straight back. It's not, that knee is not going in and out. Keep going. And the next time you bend the right knee, we'll bring both arms up and just stay here. Release the arms, hinge forward, step forward, coming into mountain pose. And let's switch to the other side. So your left foot is forward and your right foot is back. Make sure you got a little distance. You can think about the ankle being in line with the tops of the iliac crest, or the heels of the feet in line with your sits bones. And then go ahead and release and activate those arches. So you'll notice how it changes the distribution of the weight all up and down the legs. It's actually hard to maintain your balance when you pronate if you're not used to doing that. And it will also be harder to maintain your balance if you activate the arches, if you're used to pronating all the time. But this is healthier for your joints. When the arches are active, it distributes the weight of the body evenly over the hip, the knee, and the ankle joints. Now, go ahead and bend the left knee and the right arm comes up. This is inhale and exhale. Keep going. One more time, in and out of the pose. And then the next time you come forward, stay here. Strong right leg. The left knee is bent. The hips are square. Arches are active. Breathing into the belly. And then release the arms, hinge forward, step forward, and just rock back and forth. And breathe, slow, deep breaths. So now Just bring your feet underneath your hips and bend your knees and slide down and up 3 times, tipping the pelvis towards the thighs. So here we're just releasing any tension you might have built in the low back. Before we move on, so go one more time. Standing in mountain pose. Now, bring your right foot forward and your left foot back, coming back into that warrior one stance. Square the hips. Bring your hands low on your hips. And now both knees are going to stay straight. And we're just going to hinge forward. This is Tadasana. And come back up. So you should really feel this in your hamstrings. But make sure the back stays long and just stop when you first feel the pull or you feel like you don't have Uddiyana Bandha engaged strongly enough to support the low back. Just don't come so far into the forward fold. Take it high up because we want to develop that smooth muscle coordination first before we take it deep. Hinging forward and lifting up. You might see if you can go a little bit deeper if you think that might be in you. And it's really your work to do, to know how far you explore your edges in a yoga practice, but you for sure do not want to work into pain. So come back up and go ahead and bend that right knee and step forward and stand in mountain pose. And now we'll do that on the left side. So left foot forward, right foot back, pressing into the four corners, activating the arches, squaring those hips and shoulders, and hinging forward, engaging the root like the pit of the belly, and lifting back up. So if you put your hands onto your hip points right here, the tops of the iliac crest, as you're hinging forward, you'll feel this whole pelvic area tipping forward and lifting back up. You're hinging right here, and there is no bend at the waist or the head or the neck. Let's just hinge forward and lift up. And you may notice this is a little more intense in the hamstrings on the left than the forward fold that we did when our feet were in Tadasana. You may or may not notice that. Keep going a few more times. And then come back up to standing and go ahead and bend that left knee and step forward and just rock back and forth. And breathe. So the last, well, never say never, but the last challenge pose we're going to do is we're going to do a little flow of warrior one and Parsvottanasana. Virabhadrasana 1, Parsvottanasana. So come back to your warrior one with your right foot forward, your left foot back. And bend that right knee and come into your warrior one. Now float your arms out to the side, rotate the palms, straighten the knee, and hinge forward, bringing the hands back towards each other in Parsvottanasana. And then lift your shoulders back up over your hips, bend the right knee, arms overhead, warrior one. Arms out to the side, straight knee, rotate the shoulders, hinge forward, Parsvottanasana, lifting up, arms up overhead, warrior one. Go 2 more times each pose. So there's Parsva Warrior one. And again, this is sometimes called pyramid or intense side stretch. And warrior one, stay here. Lower the arms, hinge forward, step forward. And step right back with your right foot, left foot forward, strong spine. If your low back hurts, engage the root, lock the pit of the belly, and lengthen to try and release your low back. And come into warrior one. Arms come out to the side, rotate the palms, both knees are straight, and you hinge forward. Rotate the arms, bring them out, bring them up, bend the left knee, warrior one. And straighten the knee, arms come down and back. So keep going. Warrior one. Tadasana. Make sure your arches are active. And warrior one, stay here and breathe. And arms down, hinge forward, step forward. Rocking from side to side. And bring your feet right under your hips. Bend the knees, sliding down and up 3 times. And once you've completed that, make your way down onto your mat for Savasana. So I'm just going to move my device over here. Over there. And come down onto your mat. And then hug your knees into the chest. And rock from left to right, massaging the low back into the earth. And then bring this to a close and bring the hands on top of the kneecaps and just do a couple of rounds of Tadasana. So with this pose, you exhale, draw the navel towards the spine, bend the elbows, hug the knees in. And as you inhale, the knees float forward. Exhale, hug the knees in. Inhale, forward. And one more time, exhale and inhale. And then go ahead and make your way into Savasana. You can do this seated or on the floor.